Welcome to the Morgan J. Burke Aquatic Center for another edition of Behind the Blocks. Big Ten's week is here. The women are up first. They're headed to Columbus, and the meet starts Wednesday night. It's always an exciting week, and one of their favorite practices of the year, I'm sure, today too, because it's a short one. Our guests this week are record breakers this season. Abby Marcukaitis, junior from Middleville, Michigan. Backstroke is her event, and she's a supply chain management major here at Purdue. And Catherine Ackerman, grad student from Grand Haven, Michigan, swims the IM and the backstroke, and a biomedical engineering major here at Purdue. So Big Ten's weeks means that rest and taper is wrapping up, and it's time to race and go fast. What have you guys learned about how your bodies respond to rest and taper, whatever you want to call it? And does that, you learn something new every year when it comes to that? Abby, as the three-year Boilermaker, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I've learned that I do a lot less taper and a lot less rest. So I was pretty much like all normal last week, which is pretty uncommon for our team. But yeah, so I've just learned that I don't do much taper. 400 IM is Catherine's best event. It's obviously a grueling event. Does your best events impact how you taper or rest?
Yes, so as a fifth year this year, I'm very well seasoned in full cycle of training as well as taper. And I agree with Abby pretty much. I'd say that I try to focus on keeping the aerobic side of things up, so keeping a lot of volume as I'm tapering, but reducing the intensity slowly as we get closer to the meet.
Are the suits just as important as the rest and taper? Like putting on those racing suits, do they make as much of a difference?
I would say mentally, yes. For me at least.
Abby, what about backstroke world?
I would say it helps a lot more of my two back versus my 100 or 50. Just it helps really mentally as well. So. And
speaking of the two back, it was that record that you ended up getting first at the Big Ten Triple Duels a couple weeks ago in the Twin Cities. Catherine got the 400 IM record at the Purdue Invite back in November. Abby, you were on the cusp of both backstroke records all season. It was no surprise to see one of them come down. That had to be a cool moment, and is it now next step, let's get that 100 too?
Yeah, I'm really trying, so.
Quick and easy.
You got it.
to get the 200 back in season like that, and not at a championship meet or an invitational meet in the fall, was that a surprise?
It was a surprise. I was more focused on racing the people next to me versus the time, and so I just looked up at the time and I saw a 154. I didn't even know I broke the record until people were coming up and saying something to me. So that was kind of fun. But.
For Catherine, the 400 IM record again came in November at the Purdue Invitational. Really the first time you had suited up and maybe rested a little bit as a Boilermaker to get a Purdue record that fast. I know you did a lot of good things at Michigan during your first 4 years there, but was that a surprise that you were able to get one that quickly?
I would say that it was a surprise to get the record that early, but I am still striving for more. I still think I can go a little bit faster, hopefully, so I hope that that's not the limit on what I can set the record as.
We've had a lot of swimmers over the year tell us that in their view, 400 IM is the most difficult race you guys swim, more difficult than the mile, etc. When did you kind of decide that that was your premier event?
So I would say towards the end of my high school career and then starting my college career. That's just when I got introduced to the 400 IM more often, was because they didn't have that as an event during the high school season. So as soon as I started training just more volume, more yards in college, I got more acclimated to the 4 IM, and that became my best event.
What else are you going to swim at Big Tens this year? 200 IM, 200 back? 200
IM, 400 IM, 2 back is my lineup.
Sounds good. Abby, what are you starting out with on Friday? You're going to do the 50 free for fun, or?
Well, first I do the medley relay on Wednesday, but I'm not swimming anything Thursday, and then I swim 100 back and 200 back.
Sure.
So.
Do you guys have a favorite session at Big Tens?
I like the last one.
Yeah.
It's a 200 day. A lot of teams are, in the dumps, but our team comes in, we're attacking, so.
I would say either the first one or the last one. I had a former teammate describe the first session as a cocktail party because it's the warm up to the meet. There's only a few events, only a few little appetizers, so it's just a taste of what's to come. I thought that was a pretty good description.
That's the Wednesday relay session?
Yeah.
And having seen that from person, the energy is great, and there's not a lot of pressure because, again, it's just a couple of events. And I think that's a good way to put it for the Wednesday night session. All right, so again, it's the Big Tens is in Columbus this year at the McCorkle Aquatic Pavilion. Catherine's been there a couple times. As a Wolverine for the annual duel with Ohio State. They rotated home and home on that series. Sounds like Abby will be making her debut in Columbus as well. How does all that shake out? Does it matter? Having been to the pool before, does it give you more confidence having swam there before?
I think it gives me a little bit more confidence having been there before. One thing that's different about that pool is that I know it's bromine, so it does taste a little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fast pool. I've swam pretty well there, so I'm excited to go back.
It's the first time we've had that brought up as well.
Yeah.
The taste of the chlorine in the pool. New pool, Big Tens was in Ann Arbor your freshman year. It was here last year. I know you've been to Ann Arbor many times, I'm sure, as a Michigan native. A new experience in a new pool for Big Tens. What's that like on your radar?
Yeah, I'm just really excited to get in and just swim. So it's going to be a great time.
Hosting it versus swimming in somebody else's pool. Both of you have experienced that now. Again, Purdue hosted last year. Catherine was a junior when Michigan hosted Big Tens in 2023. Does it give you a better appreciation for the meet when you see it in your own pool?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fun having it here, because all the parents can come and everything. And we had some students come as well, so that was really fun. But yeah, I guess.
Home versus away, did you feel any?
I would agree with the fact that there's a bigger fan base when it's at home, but I think that is one of the strengths of the Purdue team. I've noticed that the parents travel to any and almost every meet, so we've got a really good traveling squad here. So I think that's a big bonus of having a home meet.
Abby and Catherine's hometowns are about an hour apart in western Michigan, with kind of Grand Rapids right in the middle. Both swam for the MLA club team, Michigan Lakeshore Aquatics. And you guys opened the season with that cool meet in Holland, which is your neck of the woods. That had to be a fun way to open the year for all the Michigan natives that went there. What was kind of special about that meet? I know you've been at it before, Catherine, and there's some, the mental health side of it that got that meet started. To start the season there, what did that feel like?
Yeah, I love that meet. It's obviously in our home pool, so I grew up swimming there. It's for one of my former teammates, so it's a great cause, great meet. And it's just a fun way to start the season too, because there aren't too many real events. I mean, it's hundreds of every stroke, 100 IM, 25. So it's a fun way to get things kicked off. And I got to see some of my former teammates from Michigan, so that was fun.
Yeah, definitely learned some new events that I hadn't heard of before that meet. But good to have a good, fun first meet. What did it feel like for you to go, not maybe home to Holland, but somewhere you were very familiar with?
Yeah, so I coached there this summer. So it was really cool. Some of my swimmer, little 9-year-old kids came and watched me swim, and so that was really awesome too.
Got to touch on the Sister Act. Catherine's sister Grace is also here as a freshman. Abby's former teammate on MLA as well. How much did her choosing Purdue impact your decision to come here as a grad student in fifth year? The all in the family connection. It's cool to see siblings on the same team. It doesn't happen every year.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a dream come true. I mean, I never thought that I'd have the opportunity to swim with my little sister in college. I mean, obviously the COVID year was very difficult for everyone, but having that as an opportunity now to swim a fifth year with my little sister has been amazing. So shout out to John for giving us this opportunity.
Other connections for Michigan natives. Did you guys have Lions fever this fall when
Yes.
everything was going so well for the team from Detroit?
I don't watch much NFL, so I'm
enough.
not gonna lie, not the biggest Lions fan, but
Yeah, I would honestly consider myself a piggyback fan. My family's big into it, and my dad's always been a Lions fan, but we've gotten a little more into it as they've improved, so it's been fun to watch.
All right, so we talked about the Wednesday session at Big Tens, which has the 200 medley relay, the 800 free relay. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them are on relays that night. We shall see. But to be on a relay for your team at Big Tens, I mean, that has to be something you work for all year. And the real team aspect of this sport comes in relays.
Yeah.
So the importance of those in your guys' view, I mean, how do you guys look at them? Is it as important as I'm making it out to be?
Oh, yeah, I would say so. I mean, when you just look at the sheer amount of points that come from relays, there's a lot of stake there. So I think that they're worth a lot, and it's important to nail those at big meets.
And that's the first checkpoint of Big Tens, I suppose.
Yeah.
You get to be the first swimmer in the water. That's the way it's probably going to shake out.
yeah, it's really fun, and just to have a group of awesome girls behind you and supporting you is really awesome.
Okay, I always like to give them a chance to shout out teammates here, going into Big Tens especially, who deserves some love on Behind the Blocks, whether it's somebody from your stroke group, your class, somebody who's been flying under the radar a little bit, maybe you're set for a breakout at Big Tens. Abby, what if we start with you?
Okay.
Shout outs for teammates.
I'm gonna shout out my roommate Kate Mauser. My roommate at Big Ten. I had her as a roommate last year, and she was just awesome, and she's super fun to be around with. So.
Also a Olympic trials qualifier, which was cool to see, and Kate had a great freshman year. Expect Another breakout for her as a sophomore. Somebody that you would like to highlight going into your first Big Tens at Purdue?
I'm going to shout out Kaylin Hurley. She's had a lot of incredible in-season swims this year and always works so hard, so I'm excited to see what she can put down here this week.
Couple sophomores get some love
Yeah.
here on Behind the Blocks. Sounds good. All right, we close out the episode with what we call personal preferences. I always say there are no wrong answers, but there is one rule, and that's that you cannot repeat an answer said in front of you. Usually we go ladies first. Well, for this episode, we're going to have to just pick somebody. Since Abby's been here a little longer than Catherine, we'll let her have first call between 1 and 12.
I'm going to go 12.
12. You want a free trip. Pick one. Beach resort, ski lodge, cruise ship, music festival, train trip.
I'm going to say the beach resort.
Okay.
I just love like relaxing in the sun.
Do you have an ocean or a spot that you want to start with? Are we talking a lake, an ocean? Like,
I'm going to say like Hawaii.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so for this one we dropped the can't repeat an answer
shoot,
rule.
I forgot
since
about
it's
that.
kind of that again. I'm saying we dropped
That's
that
okay,
part of
yeah.
it because it's kind of a multiple choice one. So if you want to say beach resort, you can. However, you can't say Hawaii.
Okay. Well, I'll switch it up
Okay.
just for the sake of that rule.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to say a train trip around Europe.
Okay, that's also a good pick. Countries in Europe that you would highlight that you want to make sure this train goes through.
I really want to.
Comes to your head.
I really want to visit Greece.
Okay.
I really want to visit Italy at some point. So just a few areas that I'd like to visit around there.
Southeastern Europe, you want
Yeah.
the train to be at. Those are
Yeah.
some good spots. Good weather in those places too. All right, Catherine, between 1 and 11.
2.
2. Well-known swimmer you'd most like to race against.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll bring up a time I did swim against a well-known swimmer, and that was Lily King. She somehow ended up in the 400 IM at Ohio State, so this is a perfect full circle moment.
Got
But yeah, I swam against her in the 400 IM at Ohio State.
We've seen
So.
her do some amazing things at this
Yeah.
pool over the years as well. So always a good pick there for the multiple-time gold medalist. Abby, swimmer you'd like to race against that it's pretty prominent that we know.
I'm not very educated in the swimming, like really like high up there, but I'm gonna say Reagan Smith because I think she has a world record. I think.
Yeah,
So
probably too.
I think that would be kind of cool.
And also a backstroke specialist.
And backstroke.
Yes, good. All right, last one. Between 1 and 11, don't pick 2.
4.
One band or musical artist you'd love to see play Purdue.
One musical.
Yes, somebody that you like that will put on a great show, whether it's at Slater Hill or Elliott Hall of Music.
Okay.
Somebody who would rock Purdue.
I would say SZA because she's my favorite artist.
Okay, one more time.
SZA.
SZA.
She
got
played
it.
At the Super Bowl.
I did
for a
see
little.
that. Yes, she had a cameo at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
SZA. All right. Can't say SZA. Who do you want to see
Okay.
play Purdue?
Taylor Swift.
Asked and answered. That would be, both of those would be very well attended, I'm sure, and big
Yes.
gifts for Purdue.
Probably.
So. All right, well, best of luck to Abby, Catherine, and all
Thank
the
you.
Boilermakers in Columbus. Big Ten Championships open Wednesday. Watch it live on B1G+.